think it's very important to do something in your life where you're not thinking about politics or your relationship or your friends or anything. You're literally just thinking about putting one foot in front of the other.
So it's always been, I'm assuming therefore, running has always been something that's been a friend.
It's like an old friend. It's kind of like I go away from it and I come back to it, and I go away and I come back. Prevention is better than the cure. It's a really obvious thing to say. But I feel that now at 58, that I feel like I'm now getting all of the benefits of having that mentality in everything I did.
So you have a playlist, which begs the question, what do you listen to?
My playlist is the cheesiest, most singable pop songs on earth.
Oh my God, are you actually kidding me? Hello and welcome to episode 5 of I Can Run a Marathon with me, Emma B. Lovely to have you with us. How is it episode 5 already? If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. Please hit subscribe, and that way you won't miss any of the future episodes and get involved and have a chat and all sorts. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, give us a follow. And if you're new to this podcast, hello. I've decided, with no running experience at all, that at 55 years old, I can run a marathon. And it's the London Marathon 2026 at the end of April that we're headed for. And it is coming around pretty quick, let me tell you. The miles are starting to creep up. How's everybody doing? How are you finding it? There was a lot of chat last week about lots of people reaching the 13-mile mark. And be honest with you, if you were even talking about 13 miles, even 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have laughed you out of the room. Joining us for today's episode is the first of our rock and roll runners. It's only Skin from Skunk and Nancy. I know, right? She's the voice behind amazing records like Weak and Hedonism that you will know. She'll be joining us live from New York, and we chat about all sorts of things. What's on Skin from Skunk and Nancy's playlist? She runs with music. I don't know about you. I want to know what kind of music she runs to. Also, she gives us some amazing tips because she had a running coach much later in life, and she gives us some great advice about that. And also, she ran as a kid. So this week it happened. I completed my first ever half marathon with Chris Evans in Marlow at 13.1 miles. We did through mud and wind and forests and puddles and all sorts. I've never been so covered in mud in my entire life. He was teasing me all week about ridges and it being windy up the top, and kept adding miles to the distance, which is brilliant because that's exactly what you need when you're trying to do something like this for the first time. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. One of the reasons why I decided to take on this challenge was because I was inspired by the book he wrote. And he wrote that after his first marathon, got a mate involved who's a trainer and a runner, wrote the book. And it's amazing. And we will get into his running journey in more detail on another occasion. But right now, here is a little flavour of how our half marathon went together.
I think 6:30 miles uphill is about right, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it's about right.
No, carry on.
We're over halfway and we're having a little stop. He's really good to run with, actually.
Strong.
He's really good to run with. We had a really
She ran all the hills, up the hill. I couldn't make it.
No, I didn't.
By the way, great engine on this one. Great engine, she's like a machine. And when we walk up the hills, you do leave me for dead up the hills. She's got it, man. Mile 11. So 2 something to go, yeah?
2 miles and something to go.
2 miles and forget the something. Yeah. Now this is the slippiest part of the whole 13 miles. It's so slippy. And it's the last 30 yards, so we've got to run. But this is literally the slippiest.
Oh,
But you got to cross the finish line. So when he gets into the tarmac, that's exactly 13.1 miles.
Okay, we're going.
Okay, let's do it. There she goes. And woohoo! Yeah! Emma B, Emma B, Emma B. Look at that smile!
You get to a point where you just think you can't do anything hard. You really do. I really got to a point where I just can't do anything hard, and and it's It's really nice to be out with people who care, and it's really nice to be able to kind of go, my body's amazing. It's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Thank you.
You smashed it, babe.
Thank you.
Was it harder or easier or different or what?
It was everything I thought it was going to be.
Yeah?
It was tough and fun and amazing, and I'm absolutely knackered. I'm absolutely knackered, but I'm absolutely knackered. But I've had the best time.
Is that the longest you've ever run?
That's the longest I've ever run.
But you don't hurt anywhere in the
No.
No hamstrings, no quads,
No.
nothing. Good for you.
No.
Great. Can she have a lift now?
I did have a lift. I got the lift. We went to the coffee shop. We had coffee, and it was amazing. And we'll hear lots more from Chris on a future episode. Right now, though, Skin is a global icon, best known as the lead singer of multi-million selling rock band Skunk Anansie. During her 25-year career, she's been vocal as an LGBTQ plus activist. She became the first British black person to headline Glastonbury, and also has ventured on a successful solo artist. So please welcome to I Can Run a Marathon, the amazing Skin from Skunk Anansie. Skin, I'm just going to take you back to school for a second, because we were talking about the fact that you were really accomplished. You were a successful runner at school, and sports day was something that you really looked forward to.
Yeah.
Can you remember the way that running made you feel then? Can you go back there?
I mean,
and
in
remember
those,
that?
yeah, it was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting. I remember, especially cross country. I do remember 400 meters, because I ran cross country a lot. 400 meters was so easy. It was just like, oh, this is a doddle. I remember kind of running around at one point and just turning around and smiling at everyone like, oh, this is fun, isn't it? This is like done in 2 seconds. And that was probably my best sport at school. And then the rest of it was just, I think also I love organizing things and kind of putting things in perspective. And so I remember drawing this big map of all the different sports where everybody was going to do their pieces and whatever was going to play. And everyone was like, okay, yeah, well, this is what we're doing. And it was really fun organizing the sports day and being part of that. And then I think I ran 1,500, 400.
Wow.
And 200, which I was really bad at. I'm not fast at all. I do not have muscular legs. They're not bad, but they're too long. Not good for running short distances.
Yeah. Yes, I would. Yes, you're like a gazelle, though, aren't you? With these lovely long limbs, and you need some great big stocky thighs to be a sprinter. So that was an area of success for you. So it's always been. I'm assuming, therefore, running has always been something that's been a friend. That's been a friend. That's made you feel good.
Yeah. It's like an old friend. It's kind of like I go away from it and I come back to it, and I go away and I come back. A few years ago when I was in London, I lived near Victoria Park, and so I regularly used to run. The first part's I think 5 kilometers, and if you run the whole thing, it's 7 kilometers. I remember running again when I was living in Los Angeles, and I'd run down. There's I think from Malibu to Point June, I think it was 9 kilometers, and I used to do that every Sunday.
Wow.
Those are the days, though. I'm definitely not doing any of that at the moment. I feel like a bit of a fake talking about running, in fact, because I had an operation on my foot last year, and since then I haven't got back into it. I was hoping this conversation is going to inspire me to get back into it.
This is what
get the juices back.
Excellent, good.
Because what you're doing is crazy,
mate. If I can inspire you, if I can inspire Skin from Skunk Anansie to get back running, I need done my job. That would be really amazing.
I need a good talking to kind of get back into it. I've got all my sports stuff, and the first thing I did when actually we moved was kind of plan where the gym was going to go. So now I have like a fully loaded gym downstairs, and I didn't get any running machines because we live next to the park, so I'm like I'm going to do that. But I've actually, the main thing I do is stretching now. It's interesting how your body changes, and I just started getting a lot of injuries because being in Skunk Anansie is a very kind of it's a really physically intensive job. I mean, I literally do not stand still.
It's physically intensive watching you play, let alone being in the band. It's like I'm exhausted every time I've seen Skunk and Nancy play live. I'm like that. Oh my God, I need to lie down for a week. So being in it and those gigs, and of course you guys are still playing live a lot. You have a new album. I mean, this is you're nowhere near finished yet, and it's wonderful. And you've got to look after your body in a different way.
Yeah, that's what it all kind of started, really, just being in the band. And I remember Mark had this fitness tracker thing put around his chest to see how much work he was doing, how hard his heart was working, how hard his body was working. And really, it's the same as a top athlete. When they did the statistics at the end, they were like, wow, you're doing this and this. This is comparable to this person who've got gold medalists. But I remember I used to wear a fitness tracker as well. I remember in one gig, I ran 9 kilometers in one gig. I think it was like a festival. They had a really long stage.
Oh my God.
That's where it all started. It started because I remember being the first. We were talking about the Wild Hearts, but the first gigs that we were doing, I'd do a gig, come off stage, have a few drinks, get on a tour bus, come back, wake up like halfway through the day, get on stage, have a few drinks. I remember after 3 months sitting backstage at the Nottingham Rock City, feeling absolutely gone. I had nothing left.
Wow.
I didn't know how I was going to be on stage. And at that point, I thought something's got to change. I can't keep performing at this level for this long in these outfits, because I was wearing Dr. Martens as well, and thinking that I'm going to go out drinking all night and get to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and then get back on stage again. So I just quit everything. I just was like, okay, I'm going to start wearing trainers. I'm going to start wearing more kind of baggy clothes that's more easily to run around in, and just treat myself like an athlete. And that was the difference. And that, I think, is probably a test to the longevity of the band and myself physically, is just treating it like I was going to run a marathon or going to do something very physical. And once I kind of changed my mentality from, oh, this is a laugh, this is all fun, this is all wild and crazy, I'm in a rock band. And the minute I started thinking, okay, I've got to get up early, I've got to have my run, I've got to eat healthy, I've got to do all these things, or I won't be able to maintain the level of success and the level of the live shows that we needed to do.
Well, I was thinking it's interesting that the timings of that, because, rock and roll is a noisy place to be, not literally, emotionally, intellectually, at the best of times. And, to my knowledge, there are very few people in the 90s running to ease the pressures or to make sense of the mayhem. Those gaps were just being filled by beer and late nights and everything that went with that. And actually, this podcast is all about what we're all individually getting from running, and it doesn't matter how far, how fast, whatever anybody's doing. It's just that space that has no strings attached, that makes you feel good. And for you to have found that at that time is really unique. I mean, and yes, it's a testament to the fact that Skunk and Nancy are still here doing what you do.
I think it was just a very clear choice of what do I want to do with my life? Oh, I want to be in a band, and I want to make music, and I want to write songs and be with my mates and all that kind of stuff. And then you realize very quickly that it's all a bit of a myth. This idea of being in a rock band is just fun and madness. It's actually the complete opposite. I thought I would never have to get up early if I'm in a band. I've never gotten up so early so many times in my life. And I think it's the opposite, because you have to get up early, you have to get flights early, you have to get on the tour bus early, you have to do breakfast television, you have to do breakfast, any level of success means you have to work and do all of those things that you didn't think you had to do. Especially when you, I think the difference as well, because is that my fitness is in my voice, and if I'm fit, my voice is fit. So if I'm not well, the first thing that goes wrong is my voice, and that's the thing I need the most. And I realize that there's a lot of kind of connections to the voice. It's spiritually, mentally and emotionally. Your mental welfare is really important, because you're singing a lot of songs that you wrote yourself that are very personal to you. And in order to be authentic, you have to keep some semblance of what you were thinking when you wrote those songs. So emotionally, it's there. You're with a group of people who are your friends, but there's always something going on. And, and I think that running, there's a lot to do with running. It keeps you, it settles your breathing, because you have to think a lot about breathing. You also think about, running when you're breathing in your steps, run, breathe out for 2 steps, breathe in for 2 steps, breathe out for 8 steps, breathe in for, there's all of these tricks I know now, which I didn't know. I should have been taught when I was 16, but I've learned them now. Because there's a rhythm to your mental agility that you need to keep when you're running. And it's also, you kind of forget about everything else. I think it's very important to do something in your life where you're not thinking about politics or your relationship or your friends or anything. You're literally just thinking about putting one foot in front of the other. And I feel it's kind of like a mental cleanse when you're running, because it gives you space to not think about any of those things, so that you can give your brain a break. If you're somebody like me that's always thinking, always trying to work things out, always kind of do, that's what my brain's like. I'm the worst sleeper. When you're running, you're just clearing space mentally for what you need to do as a performer, or within your relationship, or just in your family or friends. There's so many things that you can think about and then use that to write about afterwards. So I think that's a lot of the joy of it.
This is, and I think lots of people who'll be listening, that clearing of your head, that space, that silence, that quiet will resonate with a lot of people here, and that are listening and watching the podcast, not least because I find as well, and we just touched on that, you just touched on it, which was that for me anyway as well, there's no strings attached to it. I'm not doing it so that I can look better to get a job. I'm not doing it so that I can get home quicker to do the shopping for the family. I'm not doing it because it's got no strings attached. And as I think maybe as women, I think as mothers, I think the temptation is for us to we easily fall into having strings attached to relationships and jobs and things that we have to do. For the first time, one of the things that I really enjoy, I enjoy about it, is that sense of, I don't owe anybody anything. This is my time, and I'm not doing it for any other reason but because I want to be here, pounding the streets or out on the beach or in the woods or running with, whatever I'm listening to, or I'm not, for my own time. And that in itself gives me some peace and quiet as well in my head. I don't know whether that makes any sense to you.
I think, absolutely. I think that as women, it's really hard. It's mentally and physically a very hard thing to carve time out for yourself.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old.
Lucky you. Yes, you are very lucky, but that will be a 4-year-old. I love 4. 4 is a great age, but
4 is fantastic.
It's beautiful, but it's hard work.
But when you have a little kid, everything comes before yourself. And I think as a wife and a mother and all of those things, for women, it's very hard to carve out time to do what we want to do. And then we're doing something that intrinsically is difficult. Running is hard.
Yes,
it's not an easy thing. It's, like I do yoga. Yoga's easy. You do it every day. You go down, you just need a mat on the floor. You need a certain amount of training so you don't injure yourself. But it's easy to actually put the gear on in, whether it's raining, whether it's snow. We have like piles of ice up here at the moment. It's the most unattractive time to go running. It's a very hard thing, especially when you start. It takes a long time before you get to that point where you're like, oh, I'm not like about to keel over and splash into my face into a puddle in the ground. I'm actually beginning to look around and enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to do. For me, I have a level of fitness now that I know I can run for 20 minutes or 40 minutes and it's not going to hurt me too much, because I've been running on and off for most of my life. And even though I haven't run a lot this year, end of last year and this year, I'm going to get back into it. And I know I'm going to get back into it. I've got too much posh gear to like not run for the rest of my days. Do you know what I mean? It's like those trainers
exactly.
are not going to run themselves. They look too good to sit in a cupboard. So, but I think it's a very hard thing to do with your body, especially so much negativity towards running as well. It really winds me up. Ooh, it's bad for the knees. It's bad for this. It's bad for that. I'm like, well, you know what's really bad is sitting on your at home watching TV and not doing anything. So if you're going to do something, walk or run, it's definitely one of the most positive things that you can do.
I am. Do you know what? And it's really funny because obviously the point of this podcast is that I can run a marathon. I have to keep saying it like a mantra to myself.
I mean, that's so. Like, I think everyone who runs,
there's still
has
time,
got this
Skin.
little thing in the back.
There's still time, hun. There's still time. We can win you a place if you want. Just say the word.
One day I'm going to run a marathon. All of us runners, we all got that in the back of our head. One day I'm going to run a marathon. I've done half marathons, but I've not done a marathon yet. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I've got a 4-year-old. I don't know. Excuses. Can you hear that? What's going? All the echo of excuses. There's no excuse.
Listen, that's the excuses going. 4-year-olds are pretty good ones, right? Okay, I certainly wouldn't have been able. That half the point of this is that life for me got in the way massively. And I was very bad at carving out time for myself. So the struggle has been real, but we are getting there. Also, I wanted to mention as well, because you're talking about knees and ankles and stuff like that. I think as I've gone through menopause, and you've gone through menopause, you're in menopause as well.
Yeah.
And you have to have a really radical think about how you look after your body. It's for me personally, it was a difficult process, but I'm here to say I'm out the other side, and this bit's really good. And please keep going if you're in the mire of perimenopause, because this bit is the most liberating part of my life I've ever been in. It's really true. It really is true. I think there's definitely, everybody says it, but you just don't give an F about zero.
So many things that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done worrying about that. But also I think that it's such a positive time of a woman's kind of health-wise and mentality-wise. It's such a really positive time. Things are changing, and once you kind of grab hold of the things that are changing, you'll kind of realize that there's a lot of release of stuff mentally, and there's a lot of release of stuff physically, that you're like, this, I'm going to worry about this. I'm not going to worry about this and this. That's just stuff that's just put into my head because we're living in a misogynistic world. But once you kind of lose all of that worry about certain things, and you stop judging people just barely on looks and just completely on looks, it's a very freeing time. And it's our society, Western society, is one of the few kind of societies that see it so negatively. Yeah, because in a lot of cultures it's a very positive thing.
I feel so much lighter at this age than I ever have done, figuratively speaking. But now that I'm running, it's actually literally speaking as well. But I think I wanted to ask you so some practical questions about when you run. So first things first, when you run, have you ever, or do you have ambition to race again?
No, I don't, because I really love running by myself. I hate running with people. I hate it. Especially if they want to talk to you. I'm like, I don't want to talk. It's my thing that I do for me, and I control it, and I do it when I want to do it. I don't have any competitiveness towards myself in that area at all anymore. It's purely for my own enjoyment, and that's what I love about it. It's my time. I have to run with music. It's my time to go listen to certain albums, or, I'm not someone who's a silent runner unless I'm running in the woods.
So does that mean, so you have a playlist, which begs the question, what do you listen to? What is on the Skins playlist?
Oh my gosh, this is highly embarrassing, but my playlist is the cheesiest, most singable pop songs on earth. Like, it's the only time I listen to just pure pop.
Get out of here.
And it's kind of like I add songs every now and again, and when I get tired of it, because if you're running every day or 4 or 5 days a week, you get bored of certain songs. And it's kind of honed down to about 10 songs.
Okay.
Obviously.
So, like, how embarrassing?
It's embarrassing. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to get it out.
Could you please do? Thank you.
Like this, I will lose my rock credibility right now.
Reel
It's
it
about
off,
to go
please.
out the window.
Do it now.
Do it now. Here we go. Playlist. I always call it the AAA playlist that's at the top. A-list. Look at this.
Go for it. I want to know.
A-list songs. Dancing with a Stranger, Sam Smith. Listen, it's a good tune.
That's not bad stuff.
It's a tune.
It's a great tune.
It's a tune.
Okay, that's all right.
That's the tune. Missing You, Robin.
Oh, Robin, amazing songwriter. Well, you can have that.
Yeah, I can have that. Can I have Nick Jonas? This Is Heaven.
Oh my God, are you actually kidding me? You got a Jonas Brothers song on there. That's outrageous.
That's outrageous.
We are not friends.
Yeah, I got a Jonas Brothers on there. I don't know anything else about them except the three of them. But I just love that song.
It's a great record.
Calvin Harris, How Deep Is Your Love?
Yeah, you can have that. You can have that. You can have that.
Can I have The Weeknd, Blinding Lights?
Yes, totally.
Oh, I don't know if I can say this one out loud. It's so embarrassing.
Come on.
Gosh.
You're in safe space.
Oh my gosh. Am I safe? Can I? Maroon 5, Move Like Jagger. Listen. It's a tune.
Oh my God.
It's a tune.
Oh,
come on. And it goes, when I'm running, I just need that.
Literally.
I need something that's super cheesy.
My 90s Camden,
oh my God,
obsession has just disappeared. You can have Maroon 5. That's all right. That's fine.
And then the rest isn't so bad. It's like Whitney Houston, It's Not Right, but It's Okay.
Oh, that's a tune. I love that. I love
Clean
that
Bandit
record.
Symphony.
Yeah, you can have
tune.
that. That's okay. We're all right.
Promised Land, Joe Smooth. I mean, that's a classic of all classics.
It's a classic of all. Promised Land is an absolute classic.
And it's a massive, absolute. And then Touch Me by Cassandra and Rua de Silva.
Really? That's cool. That's all right.
Yeah, a bit of dance music in there.
I thought you were going to...
Elements by Danny Tenaglia. And then I've got, what else is
I'm
it?
seeing Danny Tenaglia play. We're seeing we're going out the other in a couple of weeks, and they could all of that lot going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, love it. And then the latest one, the only new song on there is Ariana Grande. Why Can't We Be Friends?
Okay, I'm just having a little breather. A little breather. Oh, good Lord.
I do have a rock list, but I find that it's kind of irritating.
Your excuse. Your excuse.
But when I'm running, it just has to be songs that are so poppy. Because if I listen to rock songs and I start over listening, and it actually starts to stress me out because I'm a rock singer and I'm like criticizing this in my hand and this and whatever. Like, I don't know how people run to their own music. I mean, that would just awful.
Can you imagine?
Run to their own music. Some people do.
Oh,
I'm like, you are awful people, and we can't be friends.
I want to know who does that. I want to know who does that.
People do that. They run to their own music. They listen to their own music all the time. But listen, I can get away with half of those songs, but
sure.
it just needs to be so obviously poppy and singable and blah 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 that and I changed this around. I had some Madonna on there at some point.
You had Madonna. Do you find yourself singing along out loud when you get to a particularly euphoric bit of Maroon 5?
Oh, I'm never going to live that down. I don't know why I exposed myself in that way. It's over. Slap in the face. The next interview's going to be like, oh, so you're a Maroon 5 fan. I'm like, no, just that one song. One song.
Just one
But
Maroon
no,
5
I do
song.
sing along. Because that's
Awesome.
part of the exercise. A few years ago, I got a run coach, actually, because I remember feeling like, God, I've never really learned how to run, and I know there's a lot of mentality to it. And I remember it started because I was a friend of mine who's a runner as well, and he goes, oh, so what gets tired first, your breathing or your legs? And I'd actually never thought about that before. I was like,
wow,
what does get tired first, your breathing or your legs? Because it's one or the other, right? And I think of it, oh, it's always the breathing. It's never
Always
the legs.
breathing, always the breathing. Yeah.
So that just set me thinking, like, I actually have never learned how to run. And I got this lovely run coach called Joe. Absolutely amazing. He kind of introduced me to Hoka trainers, like a long term.
Oh yes, because you're a Hoka girl, aren't you?
When I'm running, I don't care what the shoes look like. They're the ugliest. I'm sorry, Hoka, but your shoes are boog. But they're fantastic for running in. And now everybody's copied them.
And they're so bouncy.
But they are so ugly. Whoever designs the colorways on them really just needs sacking. They should get somebody from somewhere else. But they are so fantastic to run in. And that's got me. He got me into running. And I remember that there was a few really amazing things that he taught me. I don't know if we'll talk about this now or in another section, but was that you count, like, breathe out for 4 steps and then breathe in for 8.
Yes.
Things like
okay.
that.
Right. Fine. And did in your coaching? So have you been able to sort of dig into things like your gait and where your balance is? Whether does that sort of thing interest you?
We got into all of that. Like, I was leaning forward too much. I was too flat-footed when I was running. I run much more on my toes now. Keeping my legs straight when I was running as well, not really running bandy-legged. And then just running straight, running up, forward, legs back, neck up, and just counting the breathing, really running. We ran slower
much
at first
slower.
until we got like the gait right and the positioning right and all that kind of stuff. And also, just one of the best things to do when you start, I remember, was just you run for 1 minute, you walk for 1 minute, you run for 1 minute, you walk for 1 minute. You do that for like half an hour the first time you start running, and then you just add the minutes of running, but you still keep the gaps 1 minute. And that's a really lovely, slow, gentle way to start off, to get back into it.
I think there'll be a lot of people listening as well that will be really encouraged by that. That that somebody who has had a lifetime of running, even if it's on and off, has been running since they were a kid, to come back to it is a good idea. To start slow and to start being patiently and just track the progress. And actually, after even a few weeks, you look back and you go, wow, okay, so we're now running for 12, 15 minutes and walking for a minute, and it adds up pretty quickly.
It does. You start out with 5 minutes, you run for a minute, and you walk for a minute, you run for a minute, or 6 minutes, and you do that for a week or 2 weeks until that's easy. And then you just add time. You can add longer gaps, and you get up to 20 minutes, you stay there for a while. Because really, for a daily exercise, between 20 and 45 minutes is fine. You don't have to run 20 minutes a day is absolutely fine.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely.
That's all you kind of really need. If you can do that, then it's a long way. But it's also, I also have this mentality from a very, very early age. I learned this from an older friend of mine, and she said to me once, prevention is better than the cure. It's a really obvious thing to say. But I feel that now at 58, that I feel like I'm now getting all of the benefits of having that mentality in everything I did. Like if I have a health issue, whatever, I'll just go and fix it straight away. If there's anything going on, go and fix it straight away. Because the longer you leave it, the more difficult it is to fix. And if you're always eating unhealthy and always, you're always eating lots of sweets and lots of unhealthy stuff all of the time. Now I feel like, my system is better because I haven't had a lifetime of eating donuts. You can eat the odd donut, but I don't eat donuts every day. Do you know what I mean?
I think but there's this whole idea, isn't there, of kind of it's not about living to be 120. It's about living well with the years that you have. And being able to keep and this comes back to what we were talking about actually earlier, which was, for me, growing up anyway, sport was framed in 2 ways. One was competitive sport, and I was useless at it as a kid, so I didn't like it then. And the second way was to lose weight, to be thin, to be more attractive, whatever that meant. And that whole idea of exercising to live well is only a recent thing. It's really it's really only the last, even maybe 5 to 10 years, everybody's that message about kind of going, no.
I think
It's not about that. It's about this.
because there's so much more information about it now that what the running actually does to you, but it doesn't actually really help you to lose weight. What actually helps you to lose weight is diet. So running keeps you fit, and if you have a good diet and you run, you're going to get thinner. You know, I think that's one of the basic things that people know now. But before, it was all this mentality, you got to run because that's how you lose weight. And I think people realize now it's like, you know, being fit doesn't always meet the typical thing of looking fit.
No.
You know, there are a lot of runners that are bigger. I live next door to an Olympic track. And there's all kinds of sizes of people there, and they're all running, and they all run there every day. You know, this idea that, okay, if you are an athlete and if you're running every day, you're going to be skinny, but also because of the stuff that you're eating and because of the other training that you're having and the way, all the other things that you're doing to mentally and physically and emotionally look after your body. It's running by itself is not going to do that. And I think that's a new discovery for people. For the industry, I think.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you a question because I read an article. And you know, in my scatty mind, right? I read this article, and I was like, oh, Skin from Skunk and Nancy likes to run naked, and it was about, and I'd read it wrong, and I didn't really understand what running naked means because it is a thing in running communities, and running naked doesn't mean with no clothes on. And I was like, that she lives in New York. How is she doing that? I don't understand. Like this, unless of course she's just doing the morning run out to Selena's Beach on Ibiza that we used to do sometimes. But it's about not running with very much tech, and you know, sort of ridding yourself of this kind of. So you need to have the Garmin, you need to have the AirPods, you need to have all the stuff around you. And actually, it's a thing that you know, it's a fashion. It's a that some people really enjoy, is to not run with too much. I know you like to not have things flapping around.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just need a good sports bra, good pair of shorts. I do have the AirPods because I have music, but I can attach those to my watch because I do like to have a watch because that tells me, you know, you're competing with yourself, and I think it's always interesting to see your stats afterwards. So, but you just need the Apple Watch and AirPods. That's it.
Do you have a Strava account? Are you on Strava or
no,
I
don't do any of that.
Okay, cool.
I don't. Who cares? You know, I think unless you are running a marathon, these things are really important because obviously you want to finish within a certain amount of time, and you've got to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's really irritated me over the years is just having to continually adjust things on me while I'm running.
Yes.
Whether it's, I don't like having to stop and fix stuff, or, you know, I don't carry water. I don't run with a bottle. I don't want anything in my hands. I don't want to adjust to be fixing things and be like, I don't like this song, I've got to change it. So everything has to be perfect.
And then you go.
And it's because if I'm having to fix any tech, checking my watch and doing any of that kind of thing, stopping to drink water or whatever, it just breaks it up. It breaks up the meditational part of running when you stop or when you start thinking about other things. And guaranteed, the minute you stop to do a tech or any of those things, you start to feel tired. Oh, I'm tired. Then you realize that you're tired or exhausted, or you're feeling like, I could stop now. And then you're back into the mental game, because running is a massive mental game of like, you can do this, keep going. You can do this, keep going. And I find that anything that interrupts with the meditative, how do you say it? Meditative. Oh, meditative. Anything that interrupts with the meditative side of it
is annoying.
Just ruins the whole run.
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of the biggest things that I learned was with my trainer a few years ago, God, it's got to be 10 years ago, it's pre-COVID, was that if you get tired, just slow down. Don't stop. When you get tired, just do little steps, slow down, smaller steps, but never stop. Because when you stop, then your mental state has taken over. And so that was the biggest lesson I learned. And it was the things that were making me stop was having to fix some kind of techie stuff. So yeah, I used to have a Garmin watch. I still have them. I do 2 or 3 watches. I've got the pack with water that goes around the back and whatever. Oh, I think you need those things if you're running for a very long time.
But
if
otherwise,
you're
get
doing,
rid. Just make your life
20 to 45 minutes. You don't need any of that stuff.
Make your life as simple as possible. So, are you songwriting when you're running? Then is that where you go to when it gets tough on a run?
No, I'm not. I'm not working at all. When I'm running, I'm literally screaming my arse off to moves like Jagger. I am looking at the views. I'm trying not to step in dog poo.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything but thinking about anything work related. Sometimes things pop into my head because the annoying thing about thinking about songwriting when you're running is that you have to stop to write down an idea. And then you're like, oh, God.
Defeating the object of it entirely.
Yeah. So it has happened. It's happened a few times, but it's very annoying. So I really try and that's why I have to listen to music, because if I don't listen to music, I love running in the woods. If you run in the woods, then I definitely would not advise listening to music. I'd stay very aware. But there's so many sounds in the woods. Same at the beach. When I used to run on the beach in Malibu, it's like, it's just the sound of the waves. It's great. You can see everything and everything's gorgeous. But that's why I have to have this something going on that stops me thinking about writing and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Now I'm off with the fairies thinking about running on the beach in Malibu. If there was, so 2 final questions. If there was a Skunk Anansie song that we should run to, what's your best tip?
Oh gosh, I would say Charlie Big Potato. I got very anal because the playlist thing. This is many years of finding the right vibe to run to, but at one point I was listening to certain songs at certain BPM, and I was listening to house music and dance music because I DJ techno as well.
Yeah, you do.
And I thought I'm gonna listen to everything at
170
BPM or 170 or something. Oof, can you imagine? And that was really, really boring and really irritating, because you realize that actually when you're running, you're ebbing and flowing. You're not running to one tempo, one beat. And that was probably the most boring kind of 2 months I had, when I was like, I'm gonna just run to dance music. And also dance music is great for clubs, but it's actually nothing going on when you want to run.
Yeah.
I need words, I need melodies, I need lyrics, I need something to be telling me something.
And fire in my belly.
Inspiration. Yeah. But if it was Skunk Anansie, I'd go for Charlie Big Potato's good one. The new album, I would go for the very first song, An Artist is an Artist. Because it's just like a bit of an artist. You can run and scream that in your head.
And this is your 7th studio album. This is The Painful Truth, right? And it's out.
Yes.
Amazing,
yes.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. And I'm just
thank you.
It's such a lovely thing to speak to you. It's such a lovely thing for you to let us into your running precious space. And you look amazing. You look like you're loving life. And if you ever want a partner to run the London Marathon with, you better make it quick, because I'm not doing another one.
Well, I mean, I'm in such deep admiration for you. I cannot believe with everything that's going on with you that you are going to run a marathon. I mean, I'm part of me is jealous, and part of me is like, oh God, thank God, because that's hard.
It is.
I think I get the feeling that the first 10 miles is probably fun because everybody's there. But then the rest of it, have you actually run the 25 yet by yourself?
No. I ran 13 miles, just over 13 miles at the weekend. So I did a half over the weekend, which was extraordinary. And I had no idea that
Was it hard?
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
But it's. I think this is as well part of what this podcast is about. Is I think that there are, for me anyway, particularly, there's a time of your life that I kind of assumed I was past it, and to be challenged and to be let free to do this has been the most wonderful experience. And there is always New York Marathon next year, Skin. Just put it on your calendar.
I mean, it's a full-time job, isn't it?
Just let it sit there.
I got one last question for you. What's your Nirvana moment when you're running? How long do you have to run before you're like, oh, I'm fine now? I can run for the next.
It's quite a long way actually. It's about 5 or 6 kilometers, and then but then at that moment, and at the weekend it was probably 10k, but then that moment where it works, and you just kind of you feel it coming, and then you go, oh my God, this is the best fun. Like it's really lovely. You feel like you're flying. And at that point, I feel like I must look like, Steve Cram, 1986. And I still look exactly like
Sebastian Coe.
Sebastian Coe, exactly. And I still look like me, and that's fine because I feel like them. And it's a really nice moment. And those moments are getting longer because they were very fleeting at first, but they're getting longer, so I can hold on to it for a little bit longer.
The new thing we're talking about, I know we're going to go soon, but
it's cool.
The new thing I've discovered about running and being menopause and being older is tits. Tits have got bigger.
Yes, haven't they?
Really annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. I
might get rid.
Yeah, well, and I have to say, there's these the sports bras that I'm wearing are they're like cranes.
Yeah, I've got one that I wear for gigs, and I have to I've discovered that I actually can't put it on myself. I have to have someone put it on for me, help me put it on, and it's like so when I got a new trainer here because I told you I got this just gym now in the basement of the house next to this screaming noise, and it's like I'm like, oh, I can't actually put this thing on by myself because I've got a wardrobe person that helps me put it on for the gigs. So I'm on the lookout for a new sports bra that I can actually put on myself.
Okay, there you go.
That works. Challenge is out there.
The challenge is out there. You're gorgeous. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on the podcast, and go and buy the album The Painful Truth, which is out now. Skin, thank you.
And listen, I'm going to be supporting you big time.
Thank you.
Especially if you're doing anything for charity on this one. I'm gonna this is a nice donation for you.
Thank you. This is in conjunction with the British Heart Foundation. So we're very, very grateful to them. But legend. Thank you. Big kiss. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.
How cool was that? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. She's amazing. Huge thanks to Skin from Skunk Anansi for joining us. And don't forget, you can catch up on all our previous episodes with Helen Thorne and Nell McAndrew and Bryony Gordon and Ailish McColgan as well. So yeah, you can dip back into those whenever you want to. Every week as well, we want to hear about how your training is going. Any wins, any wobbles, any tips, any questions. Some of them I'll be able to answer, most of which I won't, but we can have a chat. And that's what this is about. Leave us a comment, or you can WhatsApp us at any point as well. +44 333 00 333 00. This week, we've had an interesting chat because we've been asking you on Instagram, what do you measure your runs in? So when you go out, do you run with time or kilometers or miles? Lots of people have got quite a lot to say about this. The apps do one thing, my friends do another. Where do you stand on it? That was the question to you. Phil got in touch to say he always measures it in time rather than distance, especially on the long runs. This is quite a common thread actually, that the longer the runs get, the more people turn to time. Dance your tits off. That'll be Kaz. Hi, Kaz. That's her name on Instagram, by the way. That's not just me telling her what to do. She says, I measure my running time, set myself a target and go for it. You're doing brilliantly. Thank you. Thank you, Queen. P. Morgan says, I use time, so 35 mins run, then 45 mins, then 2 hours. That's a jump. It's good to see if I can get further each time. Please keep them coming. Honestly, it's so great to get your comments and to get you involved. This doesn't work unless you get involved. So thank you for all your messages. Please share this with anybody you think might like it, anybody that you think might give us some inspiration for our runs, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I will catch you every weekday morning from 10 a.m. on Virgin Radio, and here for the next episode of I Can Run a Marathon.